teams relegated from the Premiership, last of which was 3 years ago. Captain Jacob Rowan, the young man who leads the side and so often leads by example. He was the man of the match in the semi-final here last season against Newcastle. Next season it won't be Leeds, it'll be Yorkshire Carnegie. That will be the name, but which league will they be in? The sights certainly set on a top-flight return. The plans are big again. Is it going to come ahead of schedule? For London Welsh, it's a matter of keeping up their semi-final appearance record. Once before, it has led to the ultimate, a place in the Premiership. Can they do it again? A second-place finish in the league this season. They certainly came off second best in the recent big Easter game at Bristol, but proved in the finish to that match just what they can do. Anyway, the whole season was not about that. It's been about these moments now. Tom May, even at his age, still gets off on games like these, making the point this week that there's absolutely no desire from anyone at the club to be on holiday just yet.
No doubt at all, the regular season games have nothing to do with these matches. Cup rugby. Chris Cook, keep an eye out for him. He emerged from the bench against Bristol in that match you mentioned. He made quite an impression. Quick service, sniping run, aggressive defence. He's a man that Leeds will need to keep an eye on.
And completing the commentary set today, pick side with his take on proceedings, Rory Lawson. Good afternoon, Rory.
I spoke with Andrew Small before the kick-off, and he was targeting a really fierce breakdown battle and an area that he was going to make a particular statement on early doors. He spoke with both captains, happy to communicate if positive, but he didn't want any appealing from his players, so it'll be really interesting to see how he really bosses things in the early exchanges today. He's got a big part to play in this game, and his television match official is Rowan Kitt.
Well, some games just make you nervous, even as a neutral bystander, and this is one for the players and coaches and supporters. It is a deep sigh of breath now, partly because of the enormity of the prize, a place in English rugby's elite, but also partly because the way this Green King IPA Championship season is constructed. Everything so obviously pointing to the knockout days, an experience so vital. Gordon Ross has bags of that, and he'll have to contend with the breeze. It's been a windy weekend. It certainly played his part at the Memorial Ground yesterday.
He played his part in that first kick. Ross looked very disenchanted with that. Of course, he knows this ground very well, but Leeds immediately get advantage.
And there's Hampson, who is Bristol bound at the end of the season. So an interesting few weeks possibly in store for the Leeds scrum half. And immediately we see the strength of the back row. And also Vickerman getting involved early as well then. The referee pulls them back into midfield for the penalty. And Leeds out before London Welsh at the start, just waiting for their opponents to come out of the tunnel. Maybe a little bit of a statement there, and they'll make a statement here with going for the post, the option that is taken by the Leeds side.
Out of the blocks very quick there, Leeds coming around the corner. You saw from that replay, Burrows got behind his man. Vickerman knew exactly where he was, came on the inside angle. The penalty conceded by Welsh early, and it's 160 minutes of points accumulation. This the first opportunity.
No kick for the corner here.
Each to their own, but I'm a great believer that until the wheel is completely broke, you don't need to fix it. And this effectively is not the first leg of a knockout game. It's the first couple of minutes of a 160-minute game, and every point counts. And it's not going to be easy here for Hughes. It looks straightforward, but it's a right old swirly Yorkshire wind today, isn't it?
Hughes, key man, moving into fly half like Alex Davis, who plays fullback for London Welsh today. He's been at fullback as well this season. He's certainly been shining in that number 10 shirt recently. 3-0, Leeds lead. Bit of a nerve settler then for them early on. Ross with the restarts, and the former Leeds man, well, he struggled with the win with his first kick to touch, and he struggled again there.
Well, it's very important for London Welsh that a man with all this experience, both internationally, Premiership and playoffs like Gordon Ross, gets his game together. He really made a bit of a mess of his first clearance, which gave the position for the 3 points, and he's overcooked that one quite badly. And you can see the pressure of the big match it's got even to a player like Ross. Leeds at the moment are being handed really good opportunities to get into their game.
Charlie Beach packing against James Tideswell.
Set.
Numerically, Miles, there's a big advantage left-hand side for Leeds.
They've stacked that side.
They're 5-on-2.
They don't need to worry about it because the forwards have done the job at the scrum with the penalty. It's all going Leeds' way at the start of this match.
I just looked at that scrum, you know. Charlie Beach got into his opposite man there, James Tideswell, and Leeds definitely were going to go down that left-hand side. And London Welsh have got to look at that because there was a 5-on-2 there.
As Hughes prepares to kick from halfway, there's the Leeds bench. Joe Graham, Callum Green, Lee Immelec, all with Premiership experience to be able to bring on. London Welsh, of course, recently in the Premiership.
Moving around.
And in the middle there, Pete Brown played with Newcastle, and Quinn's also in the top flight. There's the London Welsh coaching team, Justin Burnell and Ollie Smith. Plenty of food for thought early on. Certainly if this goes over from Hughes, we'll get a great chance to see how much the wind is playing out there with this long-range effort. Little nod from the officials. Hughes got the direction perfect. Thought he was going to miss to the left initially, but he's judged the elements.
That's the point I was making. This scrum, it's a 5-on-2 on the left-hand side. London Welsh have to watch out defensively.
Well on the restart by Richard Beck, Leeds born. There's Hughes. A little bit of a slip from Fred Burden, who scored a try in the home defeat against London Welsh in the league season. Good carry there by Rowan. Beck again. Here's Hampson. Hughes. Mike Myers co. 11 weeks out this season with that shoulder problem, but that long in the past now. And now Hampson has overcooked the kick.
Yeah, we had Justin Burnell say at the top of the show that they wanted to do the difficult bit first. They've come out, they've chosen to play into the wind after winning the toss, but Leeds have got the footing in the game really early on. They've got the penalty, and you saw Glyn Hughes there from 50 metres. It was comfortable. He's got another 5 metres on that penalty kick. Welsh have come here and they want to try and set the tone, see where they are at half-time, and then if need to be chasing it with the wind at their back second half, they can do so.
Good line out from London Welsh, nicely down from Daniel Brown. There's Nathan Vella, former Auckland Grammar School boy, some rugby school, and here's a chance for London Welsh to get back in the game. Now, into the wind, let's see what they do. Alex Davis is going to have a go.
The flip side, of course, of what Roy was saying was if you play away from home and you play into the wind, there is a danger that if you don't kick balls like this, you can find yourself so far behind that you then start panicking and you cannot play your natural game. It is not easy to just say, okay, we're 15 behind, let's just play our way into it. It does weird things. I'd be interested after this kick to hear what Lynn has got to say about that.
Took over the kicking duties from Gordon Ross in the match here in the league. Wasn't going so well for Ross that day. He's a fine kicker himself, but Davis really is top draw. He's proved that time and time again, but this will test him. He's going to get stuck on the wind, I think. Oh, no, not quite. Crossbar comes into play. Just had enough. Well, let's hear the thoughts of Glyn Jones. Glyn.
Okay, yeah, hi, what a terrific start from Leeds, perfect. What's interesting for me, Leeds are just taking the game right into the middle of the field, opening up both blinds, opening up both sides, and London Welsh are overfolding at the moment, and it's making life very difficult for Welsh to defend, and it's a clever play from Leeds, and it's just stopping the blitz defence from happening with Leeds. So it's all Leeds at the moment.
But a useful 3 points there for London Welsh, and a bonus 3, really, in view of how the woodwork came into play. And Alex Davis' strike.
Doesn't have to move.
It's going to be a Leeds put in.
Well, that's the virtue of preparation, because half an hour before this game, Alex Davis was warming up, and from much closer range, he could not get the wind. He missed about 4, fading out to the right, and in the end, he just set it left, and they started to go through. And from that distance, that is a really fine kick, but if he doesn't put all the work in preparing, that's not going over. Super kick, and a very important one for London Welsh after this wobbly start.
Crouch.
Fullback, a position that he played in the season. London Welsh
Set.
went up to the Premiership and was took part of the Premiership in that position as well.
Play away.
Hampson finds Hughes. Here's Vickerman. Nice step from Vickerman. Oh, that's really good. He's going to go through to get the first try. Rob Vickerman goes all the way back to the Stuart Lancaster era here, academy days. He's been with Newcastle in the Premiership as well, and he's trying to take Leeds back to the top level of the English game. First try of the match, lovely step from Vickerman.
Well, 2 things here. The scrum is so solid. Look how flat Nathan Hughes is. Slashing breakthrough through the inside there of Tom May. London Welsh defence being caught on the hop, but couple of things there. Leeds scrum is doing everything and anything it wants at the moment. It's making it extremely easy for Hampson. Hughes can play flat because of it, and then when Vickerman steps, bang, there's no time to readjust.
And the conversion from Hughes. 13-3, 10 minutes played. And James Lowe's, the Leeds coach, will be absolutely delighted with this start.
Just no time there, you can see no time at all for Tinknell and his midfield to readjust. Brilliant start for Leeds.
Catch from Jonah Holmes, who's been flipping with London Wasps' involvement this season. This was at London Welsh. I seem to remember he played in London Welsh's first game in the Premiership against Leicester.
Thank you.
All those months ago. Here's Davis.
Keep coming, Black, keep coming.
That's holding up.
And therefore will be a difficult catch. Any catch a difficult one today, but Steve McCall, who is Gloucester bound, takes that, but it's London Welsh 4. A chance for Corker to get them moving. That's Vella. In goes Chris Cook, in on loan from Bath. James Ticknell, one of the former Leeds Brigade. Cook again. Corker again, that's what he likes to do, that strong carry. Ross, that's nice step from Kerwin. Took a leaf out of Vickerman's book there. Very promising start to the game in general. Mick Scott getting wrapped up. And that's a Leeds penalty. Should just say that Ollie Steadman, the London Welsh number 8, doesn't have a number, if that is spotted as you watch at home, Stuart.
Super play from Carl Kerwin. Watch the 7 here. Just drives over the top, gets help there from his number 6. And you can see there with Brown in tandem. The turnover ball from the turnover ball, sweeping attacks there. Kerwin showing some footwork as well. Really good play. London Welsh are aggressive at the breakdown. That's just about, apart from Alex Davis's penalty, the first thing that has gone their way so far. But interesting, the wind may be with Leeds, but if you kick high and you kick well, it does give your chasers a great chance there.
as the ball comes back towards them. Phil Nielsen having a tight call that. Joe Graham is on the bench.
Tackle only.
Nielsen, one of the two changes in the Leeds side from the side that played so well against Rotherham over Easter. There's Fred Burden. McCall. Come here to play, haven't they? That was the promise from their coach, Lowe's, and his team delivering as Hughes puts towards the corner. Intelligent rugby.
Most intelligent stuff here from Lowe's team. It's really good, and the other thing Leeds are doing, they're keeping the ball in hand because Steadman and Scott on the wings for London Welsh are playing very deep, and they're forcing them up, and when they come up, that's when the half-backs of Leeds are wanting to kick. They're really running the show extremely well. That was a clever kick.
Stay there, Leeds. Stay there, Leeds.
Vella throws, finds Brown. Ross.
Barnage.
Advantage played here to Welsh as Ross again tries to run it out of defence, but he knew what was coming. And the whistle has now been heard by Greg Hampson on that far side. Ross knew a penalty had been awarded.
Loose had Charlie Beach penalised, coming in on the side.
And it's a good kick to find touch from that central position today. Against the win, there is Charlie Beach. His father-in-law, in fact, is Sir Ian McGeechan, of course, now the chairman here at Leeds Carnegie.
Yeah, Miles, I'm stood down here in between the benches, and there's only one side that seemed to be in this game, the togetherness of the Leeds bench. Every time something good happens, they come up. They've just gone off to warm up now, but every time there's something good, they're up and they're out their seats cheering on their teammates. You saw there Glyn Hughes tucked away the ball into the corner. They were up off their feet, and in contrast, the Welsh guys are very quiet and nervous, it seems.
Yes, Leeds looking to take full advantage of home advantage in this first leg. So the crowd are fired up as well, aren't they? Ross, will this get stuck in the wind as well? It's 1-4 Nick Scott to watch, and he's done very well. Good catch. He got 2 tries here in November. Scott. It's Will Spencer, another of the Bath Brigade. Cook. One of those two, of course, and that's good hands by London Welsh, playing some rugby themselves here now. Very slick indeed. Cook goes in again. Ross once more. Now it's Corker. Cook to Ross. Brown was the decoy. Spencer. That's Davis on to Scott as he goes looking for another try at Headingley. But the ball was out, and Leeds pouring through, and adjudged to be offside. There's Bet. He's called back.
I think there's half a chance here for London Welsh. Some brilliant hands, but I think it should have gone wide here. Very slick, lovely miss pass in there. Fixed ball now, this is the moment. Give that ball, yeah, Tom May has a one-on-one there. There's no cert try, but there's a real opportunity. That ball should have been given there.
Yeah, with that, Welsh are struggling to exit, so when they get these opportunities, they've got to take them. That was a gilt-edged opportunity that both coaches spoke about at the start of the game. You've got to capitalise on those, and that was one that's gone for Welsh. They've got another opportunity, though.
They certainly have, in a good position here. Having gone for the corner. And given the strength of that wind, any wide kick would be a major challenge today. There's Steadman. Is the ball quick for Cook? Well, it was, but it's also out the side, and Leeds had a chance to steal it and maybe run away here. Here's Jonah Holmes, and he really can shift. He's looking for support. It comes from Burden. Good hands. On goes Vickerman. Vickerman finds support from Hampson. Going wide. Not certain yet. McCall's got a lot to do from there. And London Welsh do get back in numbers there. Defence excellent because they were really being stretched. But Leeds do have a penalty. And it was an exhilarating breakaway with some terrific hands round about halfway.
Well, more important, I think, even than the hands, are the support lines. Whoever carries has got options either way. It starts off here with a super break from Jonah Holmes, but he's got men looking for him on the left and right. Inside ball, outside ball, he has the choice there. Again, inside, outside, Vickerman. He's looking for support. He's got it on the left, he's got it on the right. That shouldn't have been the wide pass there. That should have been a pop pass to fix London Welsh. It was a real chance. When I said they must score, they should have gone short there. But the support work there is absolutely tremendous there. Little diamond of Leeds support runners either side. There's a classic example. Look at Vickerman. He can go left, he can go right, he can turn, support there. Super play.
The Welsh with numbers back, and they needed to be back quickly. Being pushed hard by Leeds. Judge this one. Oh, he most certainly can. 16-3. We haven't reached the midway point in this, the first half of the first leg. So an awful lot of rugby still to be played in this tie. But Leeds setting up more than decent lead here. 16-3.
It's a cracking start from Leeds, no doubt about that. From London Welsh, what we've seen is some good driving play from their forwards, but at the moment, in terms of tactics and shape, it is all Leeds. They're playing beautifully.
Hampson. Little short ball there from Burrows was good. Cece shows his bulk. Very rarely gets turned over. That is forward, and Holmes will be very disappointed because just got a little bit of an outside line on Scott, who was going with him well. It was a good contest, but Andrew Small perfectly placed to call it.
It's been
as a
very
forward pass.
Sorry, Miles. A really interesting first 20 minutes in that Leeds look extremely comfortable playing for space, trying to find an area in which they can outstrip London Welsh. London Welsh at the moment, they seem far more comfortable just taking contact with their big runners.
Well, a bit of a break in play here. What a start from Leeds Carnegie. London Welsh coach Ollie Smith is on standby to talk to us. Ollie, what's your take on how things have gone so far?
We're not quite so well at the moment. We're 16-3 down. We've coughed up a couple of opportunities. We had a 2-on-1 at the close touchline here that Seb Stegman should have put Tommy Main for a try, and you miss opportunities like that, and in tight games like this, and you'll end up coming on with the wrong result. And yeah, we've just not looked after the ball too well at times.
16-3, as you say, not a good position at the moment, but there's a long time to go. It's important, isn't it, to stay calm in these situations?
It is, and it's a credit to these guys. I mean, we've been in similar positions this through the season, and we've come back and got some great victories. So it's not beyond our means. Like I said, just stay patient. You know, we talked before the game about building the score, and you know, another couple of penalties and something 16-9, and we're way back in the game. So yeah, like you said, stay patient, look after this ball, because we are creating opportunities, we're not just executing them.
Thanks, Ollie.
Thank you.
London Welsh have just got to tell themselves they're 16-3 down, but they have got 140 minutes to go, and they're playing into the wind at the moment. But they have to steady this ship.
And steady that scrum as well. It's Cook and Kerwin, who led the side last time out against Nottingham. Ross to May. Davis joins in from full back. Ross again.
Yeah.
There's Vella.
Phil, get the trainers on, 15 blacks on his knee.
Cook. Ross. That's a lovely dummy that he's thrown there. Support comes from Cohen. Cohen, is this the chance for London Welsh to come right back into it? As Ollie Smith was talking about that. Seizing the chances when they come along. Spencer with a drive. And Burden trying to get underneath the driver, but it's back again. That was a deliberate knock-on. I think the penalty has been given, and...
Well, it could be a penalty try.
Well, given the men over on that far side. Maybe go from could to should. Let's see.
It's a one-handed challenge, which Johnny's confirmed. Can you just check how many defenders for Green there were as well, please?
Understood.
Yep, thank you.
Well, this could be the full Monty here. This could be a yellow card, 10 minutes, and a penalty try under the post.
Okay.
Rowan Kitt will make the decision, along with referee Andrew Small, of course.
I think the answer is that there are very few Leeds Carnegie defenders on this short side. They're throwing numbers in there as London Welsh use their weight, trying to bludgeon their way over. Now the ball comes quickly from Cook. None is the answer. It's a 3-0. That has to be penalty try and yellow card, surely.
Smalley.
Yeah, Kitty, I've seen it.
Okay.
He's gone with one hand. I also believe there's sufficient players. I'm going to yellow card that player, and I'm going to award a penalty try. Can you just confirm the Green player, please?
5 Green.
5?
Mike Myers-Co is the man. It is the full set. London Welsh have the penalty try, and even with this win should really get the conversion as well. Alex Davis, whilst this has all been happening, is very sadly being led away, so he won't be taking the kick. Gordon Ross and his excellent kicking skills will come to the fore again in the absence of Davis, who's hurting there, so he goes out of the tie.
Philly, could you
Today,
grab me some physio tape as well? Your pieces come out, mate, please.
Beyond that as well, should London Welsh progress to the final, and next week very much in the balance for Davis in view of the nature of that injury. We'll get more information on that, of course, but
this is the try,
didn't look good. This is the try. Ross with the setup.
Well, it's Cece buys the dummy all too easily, and it's Gordon Ross who creates it. Then you get the power of the London Welsh forwards. That's the moment when London Welsh have a sniff. The forwards bludgeon away, and in the end, some pretty sharp passing, and it's the inevitable left hand there. 3-0, had to be 7-pointer.
Oh, they put it down eventually. It's Alan Alcock who's come on to replace
Didn't go dead, didn't ground it immediately.
Alex Davis.
22. Bounce twice and then goal.
Well, you could see what Gordon Ross was hoping for. He wanted that ball to just keep going with the wind, go dead and have a scrum 22, but in the end it stopped, it bounced on a firm surface, and London Welsh were forced to touch down.
Ross restarts. Leads them with 14 men.
Amazing, isn't it? Suddenly 16-10 into the wind. Looks a good score with the man over.
Those points about being patient and then taking a chance when it comes along. So Beck has got to do work for 2 in the second row. Rowan, not the best pass, but the referee again was playing advantage. Way on that far side, the penalty offence. As Rory was saying, Glyn Hughes had plenty to spare with the kick from halfway. Okay, this is slightly on the angle, but it shouldn't really worry him. And Jacob Rowan is calling forward Glyn Hughes.
Just there.
Well, there's no ideological into the corner. We're looking for tries here.
Absolutely agree.
Just Andrew Small say there was talking to Tom Mayers, captain of London Welsh, and just warning them about rolling clear from the breakdown. It was the point Rory made before the game. He's going to police it hard. And the last thing London Welsh want, having got themselves back within 6 points, having a man advantage, is to lose that man advantage. And as for Hughes, he has struck the ball beautifully so far. He's played very well, not just his goal kicking. This is within his range, but every kick in a game like this is a pressure one.
Came out of the Northampton Academy. Had a spell with Moseley. Now finding himself trying to take Leeds Carnegie to be Yorkshire Carnegie into the Premiership next season. And kicks like that will really help as Leeds try and set up an appearance in the final.
Yeah, just been down at the bench, guys, and Alex Davies looks to have taken a really sore one on his right knee. I think he's twisted his knee into the contact, and he's got his right knee heavily strapped and iced up, and he looks like he's in a lot of pain. The poor guy obviously came into this game, first start of fullback for Welsh, and it's hugely disappointing for him.
Yes, it had that feeling, didn't it? Not just the length of treatment for Davies, but just watching him myself, his reaction to the injury looks like he feels that season over. But again, the medics will tell us more on that in the days to come. But if that is the case, it's a big loss to London Welsh. You get the put in here.
It's a more...
Perhaps a little bit over-enthusiastic then from Leeds Carnegie. They've got to remember the Myers Co in the sin bin. They're driving London Welsh, and yes, they are driving them, but they're 7 forwards against 8, and in the end, London Welsh were able to use that extra man to just hold up and slow them down, keep the ball off the ground and turn that over.
18, crouch, bind.
Ross stands quite a lot deeper than Hughes. It's an interesting contrast in backline play.
Scrum wheeling round, but the control at the base was excellent. And it's a penalty. It's a bit of a mess, the breakdown, isn't it? Okay, that was off the back of the scrum.
Off feet, over the ball.
Players do have a tendency to flop all over the place, but the referee, I think he's making the point there with the penalty. That it just can't happen, it can't go on.
Yeah,
in every other respect, we're getting a quick, fast game here.
Well, the other point about it is, because Leeds have got 7 men instead of 8, suddenly their scrum that's been so solid is going sideways. The ball wheels out. I don't know if Lynn's listening, but coming out of a scrum, the tendency for a back rower to just kill it under that pressure is so tempting.
Very scrappy play from... very scrappy play from David Sissy, and that's going to cost them 3 points. And it's just the flow of the game at the moment. There's too many errors at the breakdown, and both sides are just giving immature penalties away. And I'm sure the coaches at half-time will be really stressing the importance of discipline, especially in goal-kicking areas. And that seems to be the trend here at the moment, especially for London Welsh. And so far what we've seen is every time the London Welsh have received a restart, they just haven't been able to clear, and Leeds have scored. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 90 seconds here now.
Thanks, Lynn. 6 points in it. Ross looking very accomplished in the win there with that kick. Lynn had given it to him before he'd taken it. No wonder when Ross shows that kind of kicking form. Here he is again. Here's McCall. Stands up strong in the tackle, then the support arrives. Hampson to the short side. Hughes takes them on. Hampson again. Rowan to CC. Always looking to keep that ball flowing through the hands, Leeds. Burrows, well, he's not averse to just putting his head down for a charge either, but we've seen his ability to offload as well. Fred Burden. He's got a first in chemistry at Cambridge, Fred Burden. That might well be a definition of clever. Rowan. Tusak getting stuck in, certainly playing his part in the set piece. These valuable seconds during the Myers Co sin bin period. Here's Doherty, haven't seen too much of him so far. And now experienced Leeds winger. First played in the Premiership, made his debut at the age of 17. David Doherty. Nielsen. Hampson wide to McCall. He's got Holmes outside and Doherty in support. Holmes cutting back inside, showing that power running that is his trademark. Good line from Burden. Up it comes. Hampson has got a hand on it. Hughes, Beck. In goes Vickerman. Crowd baying for blood and also wanting the referee to respond, but
well, it's Stegman's come off the right wing. I thought he went for the man and ball first of all.
Did 14 Black play the ball or did the ball hit him?
Ball hit him as far as I saw.
Right, so it's going to be a knock-on against him?
Yeah. Great officiating. The crowd were baying, as you say, Miles, baying for a penalty and a yellow card. Stegman's timing is absolutely brilliant. If we watch that again, there is a try there, and the former Harlequin right wing has come in with a superb play. Big overlap for Leeds after a thrilling counter-attack. Their ability to keep the ball alive always to the fore. Super line from Burden. Now, there you go. In he comes now. It's a 2-on-0. It's a likely try. It's brilliant play from Stegman. Accidental, and I think you'll see it there. He's gone for the man.
yeah, live it didn't seem like a penalty to us up here, but more importantly, the officials down there. And it was well played by Stegman, as you say.
Well, it's a 5-point call from Stegman. Winger score tries, but I think he saved one there.
Would have given Leeds a massive lift, just the nature of the score, but they are far from done on this attack as Burrows shows his power once more, well supported by Hughes, who's still got it, tries to wriggle through. What gap there was. Rowan knew the tackle was coming straight away. Good work by Brown, driving through and over and wins the penalty. So that little passage of play has certainly gone London Welsh's way. They managed to hold out, at times using their fingertips, but also using their power defence.
I will not have number 9 shouting at me. I will then not have multiple players getting involved. You are now on a team warning. The next player goes.
Clear enough. Also, great degree of nous there from Damien Brown. That was superb. Daniel Brown, really good. All the experience with Northampton, Grenoble, all over the rugby world. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have Mike Myerscough coming back on here. He was the first guy to get up out of his chair and call for a yellow card, and Seb Stegman made that tackle, that crucial tackle in the wide channels. But it was the difference of a half of a second in the tackle. I think Myerscough was going for a tackle himself when he knocked it down, but it was just the timing. Stegman got ball and all, whereas Myerscough is just that half second off.
Could be a big swing in the game, that Stegman did. Leeds get a conversion back on another try, and that really does create that gap that they had initially set up. Well played Holmes again. He's really on top of his game. Doherty back to fitness with his recent leg injury. Welsh have got a man down. Will Spencer's out of all of this. And with Leeds back to their full complement, it's as if Welsh do have a man in a sim bin here. There goes Burrows, finds McCall. They're coming from every angle. That one thrown forward by the Leeds fullback. Still Spencer receives treatment inside the Leeds half as London Welsh try and drive it away. Corker to Ross. Spencer's okay again. And Stegman. Cook. Ross. Corker. Cook again. Gordon Ross It's in behind McCall. He's got to watch it though, and he does. It goes back over the shoulder. Now, was that forward? No. Holmes again, he's got this ability to beat the first man, start his feet. What a line from McCall, and he's going to get support from Vickerman, and he's got Burden winning. This will be a try as Burden races in for Leeds. They want that Premiership place back, and if they're going to get it back, they're going to play the kind of rugby
can he come out?
that is really entertaining. Now, does the referee want to check something here? Tom May certainly wants it to.
Need to check the forward pass at the beginning of that move.
No, I'm happy with that pass, mate.
You
We'll play
happy
on.
with that? Okay.
Yeah,
Well done,
thanks.
Andrew Small. Well done, Andrew Small. He didn't think there was a forward pass.
Okay, what I will say to you
Brilliant play from the back
is that the
three.
ball is available. Leave it to me. Thank you.
Jonah Holmes is having a fantastic game.
Away.
He's just tearing apart London Welsh's system. And while we're looking at Fred Burden, the scorer, Andrew Small's been really strong there, saying, I'm in charge and refereeing. Excellent. But the back three there, the fullback McCall working in line with that winger Jonah Holmes, absolutely superb. And then again, Vickerman and Burden, the way these combinations are working is so good. And I go back, Miles, to the running lines and the support lines. Don't watch the man with the ball, look at the support players. It's absolutely brilliant. Inside ball, first of all, again, keep your eyes on lead players. Always options, inside, outside, there they are. McCall's line is good. Have I got support? Yep. Again, either way, Burden scores there. That's intelligent counter-attacking play.
Not seeing any obvious forward pass there. Maybe it was the first one. I think when I caught it, I said there might be a little bit of doubt over it, but the officials again were in line, and away they went. And away went that man Holmes again, who is proving almost impossible to stop, isn't he? And the centres, Vickerman there now on the ball, and his centre partner Burden try a piece. 26-13. Pete Brown is on for London Welsh. Daniel Brown is the man to go off. So they've lost Davis and Brown from their original starting 15. Burrows sets it up so well. Hampson, Hughes, Myerscough. It is a relentless pace. There's Nielsen. Hampson had a second chance to get it away. Burrows again does the right thing. Rowan.
Offloading so good, and it's keeping the pace up. And the quicker this game, the harder it will be for London Welsh. They've got the penalty at the moment, but I think London Welsh, when Justin Burnell gets them in at half-time in the change room, he's got to say, we need to drop a wet blanket over this game and take the pace out of it, because if it stays at this speed, the way Leeds are playing, they're going to be in the final before we go back to Oxford next Sunday.
Yes, Welsh cannot afford to leave here in a situation where there's simply just too much to do. You heard what Justin Burnell said before the game. They'd rather have it this way round, have the second leg at home. But that's only the case if it's not totally out of sight. Well, it's certainly not at the moment.
Another point that needs making, of course, we talked about the wind being in London Welsh's favour, but Leeds are not playing rugby that needs wind in their favour.
Oh, it's over the top to Brown. And it's Pete Brown, the replacement for Daniel Brown. This is Vella, this is Ross, and this is why it's far from done at the moment, because it's going out to Scott, and Scott, the ever-dangerous winger, nearly there again. And when this happened before, and Corker took it in before, London Welsh went left and got a penalty try. It's not going to be quite deja vu in that way, but Steadman nearly there. And Cook, it is on wide, well, it's on short as well, and it's Alan Orcott. And Welsh come back for a second time with their second try of the game.
There's not much evidence of fear of failure in this semi-final. We're up to now what's going to be 46 points in the first half. Leeds have played all the rugby, but it must be said, when London Welsh get the ball, Leeds do not look as smart in defence as they are in attack. a little bit porous there, and in the end, good running lines there. Super offload from Nathan Trevett, and a different sort of player to Davis. Alcock very strong. He's always going to go over from there, but Welsh right back in it again.
And the real bonus here for London Welsh and their kicker Gordon Ross is that from both tries now, the Alcock score and also the penalty try, of course, the conversion against this wind has been in a position where it's a guaranteed 2 points, and that extra 4 makes a difference.
It's a fascinating first 40 minutes, isn't it? Because, you know, Leeds have played all the attractive rugby. They look so dangerous, but London Welsh, their ability to score with their few chances keeps them right in this game. That and Stegman's intercept, crucial.
But Stegman may have intercepted, but the penalty goes Leeds' way.
12 Green on the feet.
He's entitled to shake his head, really. It was a superb interjection. Took the ball clean away from Doherty. The final say of this first half is going to go to Glyn Hughes and Leeds Carnegie.
As if there was any doubt, half-time or not, Glyn Hughes was always going to go for the 3 points here. It was really good play from Stegman, you know. Apart from the one score he really should have given away to Tom May, defensively he's been very good. James Tinknell gave the penalty away, and will it be costly to the tune of 3 points? Because Glyn Hughes, he has played delightfully and his goal kicking has been superb. It's been a very entertaining first half. You wouldn't think it was a playoff match. There's been so much rhythm to this game.
This is the most difficult kick of the lot so far for Hughes. Not just its position on the field, but given the fact that there's the responsibility here, just creating that more than a trying conversion gap. 9 points psychologically would feel so much better for Leeds and his team, but just to back up Stuart's point, you would not know there is pressure on these players, the skills that they are producing. Okay, at times 1 or 2 defensive issues, but from a neutral point of view, that's never a bad thing. Half-time, Leeds Carnegie lead by 9 points, courtesy of that Hughes boot right at the end of a very entertaining first half. Rory.
Ryan, you can see a late score in that half, but you must be pretty happy with the first 40 minutes.
Yeah, well, you know, we're really happy. We've done the things we've worked on all week. You know, they've got a good kicker in Gordon Ross, and we just have to, you know, control the ball and not give them easy possession. You know, for Gordon Ross to kick it to the corners, that we've been guilty of, and we've played them twice already this year.
You're playing into the win second half. Do you need to change anything?
I don't think we do now. I think what we've been doing has been working. You know, probably just tighten it up a little bit so we're not coughing the ball up as much. You know, to allow, like we said, to allow Gordon Ross to kick us into the corners.
Thanks, Ryan. Go get your rest. Good luck second half.
Cheers.
Well, what a 40 minutes of action that is. That is the Green King IPA Championship at its very, very best. And as Stuart was saying, both these two, well, they've rather thrown off the pressure. They're very much playing to win. And at half-time, it's the home side who have their noses in front by 9. But they've had the benefit of the elements as well. It's thoroughly absorbing, but it is Leeds ahead 29-20 at the break.
That was the second from last game of the season, and it was the first time I'd sprinted 50 metres.
Discover the UK's #1 car site today on PC, tablet and smartphone. Autotrader.
Right, we are on our way to the London Thames barrier to find out exactly how it works and why without it London would be underwater. That's a pretty scary thought.
Thames barrier, here we come. Right, check this out, the Thames barrier. They're just huge discs that rotate round and pop up, preventing the tidal surges from flooding London. Next stop on the Great Jeep Road Trip, and I can't wait for this, indoor skydiving.
Adventure has evolved. To see more of the story, go to jeep.co.uk.
Finding a good tradesman can be hard. However big or small your job. At ratedpeople.com, we've helped more than 1 million homeowners find the right tradesman for millions of different jobs. So whether it's a quick fix, a necessary job you've been putting off, or something truly ambitious, at ratedpeople.com, finding your next tradesman is only a few clicks away. ratedpeople.com for quality local tradesmen.
Being from the olden days, Royal London are full of classic olden day values. Like loyalty, care, shield lending and stuff. War. They look after people's investments too. Through prosperous times. Or harsher, poorer times. It's disgusting. Or more faddy times. They invest calmly, never falling for the latest craze. Even if you live nowadays, Royal London will treat you with the values of the past. Ask your financial advisor about them. Or the internet.
At Nat Geo, we're getting tough every Thursday. These are real men whose occupation in life is just being tough.
This is very sweet.
Being tough is second nature. This is what separates the men from the boys. With a knockout lineup, the only tools they need is their toughness. Tough Thursdays, every Thursday from 8. This is Tough. This is National Geographic Channel.
Falamos
a linguada.
Copa do Mundo.
Bringing you all the breaking news at the World Cup.
That was the second from last game of the season, and it was the first time I'd sprinted 50 metres.
You try calling who's going to make it through to this year's Green King IPA Championship final. Evenly poised for the Saturday rematch between Bristol and Rotherham. Andy Robinson's men up by 3 as they head to Sheffield. That's from 6 o'clock next Saturday on 1. And at the moment it's 29-20 here at Headingley Carnegie, and Welsh and Carnegie will resume their battle next Sunday at lunchtime, 12:30, and that also on Sky Sports 3, the second leg of the second semi-final. In terms of the match stats from that first half, well, pretty evenly balanced in the main, but the two to pick out there, tackles missed. Welsh have been exposed a little bit in defence, and the offloading game of Leeds has been key to that, and perhaps that has helped them to their 29-20 lead. Neither side has missed at goal either. Superb off the tee from Gordon Ross and his counterpart. But you have to say, Lynn, you called this a 9-point wind in that first half. 9 points is the difference. What about the quality, though, that we've seen out there?
Outstanding, isn't it? I'm really enjoying the game. Footwork, the offloading, the skill, the vision is just great. And Leeds have been outstanding. And I'm sure both coaches are in there now at the moment, really disappointed with how the defensive structures and the tackling is not really sort of working for them. You saw 12 missed tackles from London Welsh, which then results in a lot of offloading from Leeds. And so there's a direct correlation between one and the other. So I think the defence with London Welsh is very strong out wide, but in the middle there's nobody there. And I think they have just to bring that in a bit, because Jonah Holmes has just been running amok there with the London Welsh defence. It's just been a joy to watch.
Absolutely. We'll have a look in more detail at Jonah Holmes in just a moment or two, but let's have a look at the perfect start for the home side. It was Rob Vickerman, I suppose, apt with England Sevens going well at Twickenham right now. An ex-England Sevens man doing the damage. But
just showing him the inside. You just can't do that, and giving too much work for Gordon to do, and it's a disappointing try to give away. And it's a great start for Leeds, and it's really set the tone of the game.
Credit where credit is due, though. Back come London Welsh. We know they've got resolve. We know they're not going to go down without a hell of a fight here. And then it's an old man with an old trick out of the back pocket from Gordon Ross.
You can't coach that, can you? He's like a slippery old eel. He's through the gap and he does the right thing in passing the ball.
And you call this immediately?
No, that's a yellow card. It's a penalty try, as it was with London Welsh against Gloucester 14 months ago in the Premiership. That's a yellow card without a shot of a doubt. And you had to do it. You had to do it because they were going to walk over.
Absolutely. Gordon Ross converted. Glyn Hughes obviously been kicking everything for Leeds as well. So in terms, therefore, of Leeds getting into it again, you mentioned Jonah Holmes. I mean, I know he has impressed you hugely in that first 40 minutes.
Oh, just everything with him, isn't it? You know, he's finding angles. He could have put his head back here and let it go, but he's cut in. He's just looking, pumping the ball, really causing difficulties, and he's been the big instigator in the Leeds tries and their attacking game this half. Just see another. Just stop, if you could stop that. There's no defenders there. They're all over the shop there, London Welsh, but it's just enough to be a catalyst to get the game going, and it's again results in a lovely 7 points for Leeds again. And as good as Jonah is in that, and I'm sure London Welsh will be disappointed with some of their efforts in defence.
Absolutely, but you just cannot seem to shake off the Exiles as we see Fred Burton running it in again. I mean, the crowd have been absolutely fantastic in full support of the home side, but a fair few have travelled up in support of London Welsh as well, and they got the reward as well with a try for Alan Orcock. I mean, it's just typical Welsh, isn't it? The resilience that we've seen all season.
That's right. They run hard, they come hard again. Look, you just see it, and the skill levels out the back. It's just too much for Leeds. They spread the defence, and on the way back, they just build up patiently, a little offload. And I suppose the disappointing thing from both sides is that second man in on the tackle is really not having an impact in the game at the moment. So I'm sure they'll be looking to slow the ruck down, slow the contact area down for both sides, and probably see about a 3-all draw second half.
Oh, well, let's hope not. Let's hope we get a lot more of what we've had so far. It does feel like punch and counter-punch at the moment. And I know we were talking pre-game about dividing it up into quarters. Yes. What do you feel are the key messages for both sides, therefore?
Well, for London Welsh, every time the Leeds have kicked off to them, they've messed things up, and it's resulted in points. In all bar one of the restarts. I think it'll be different this half, where Leeds are not going to get the type of depth in their restarts. But one thing we haven't seen from London Welsh so far is their driving maul. Yeah. They got a very good driving maul. So you're going to get the field position this half from Gordon, and then London Welsh are going to start to influence the tighter parts of the game and then show why they've been such a leading side this year.
Yeah, London Welsh actually did the double over Leeds in the league season, but when it matters, it's Leeds in front at half-time here at Headingley Carnegie in the home leg of the semi-final. But it's been an absolute thriller, this. It really is two sides going out there to win, giving a very good account of themselves and showing perhaps why they are the side that should be going up to the Premiership next season, 29-20, and we've only played 40 minutes. We'll have the second half for you when we come back.
I was standing there thinking, oh, this could be embarrassing if it doesn't turn.
I hack the city to make him my weapon. My enemies may run Chicago, but I control it.
Watch Dogs. Hacking is our weapon. Includes 60 minutes of exclusive gameplay only on PlayStation.
It's important to be passing across quality, isn't it? If I'm handing across a scrap of paper, they're going to get a scrappy service, aren't they? It's important that that business card is saying what you want it to say. And I know I can trust Vistaprint to produce for me exactly what I'm asking them to.
Pass across quality with 100 business cards for $4.99, plus get a cardholder free at vistaprint.co.uk/TV.
It's basic branding, isn't it? It's basic marketing. You're putting your mark out there, so people see that and they think it's Yes Driving School, it's going to be good standard.
All you need to do summer in style with up to 50% off garden furniture at very.co.uk.
Don't miss the funniest movie of the year.
Get it up there, sweetie. That a balloon?
That's not a balloon!
You guys want the condom to take with you? I don't know if you still want to use it.
Bad Neighbors.
If you fall ill abroad, we'll help find a doctor who speaks your language. Just part of the Kiss and Make Better service we deliver daily. American Express.
Why is NFU Mutual the which best financial services provider of the year? Is it because we achieved a higher customer satisfaction score than any other insurer? Is it because we don't quibble over claims? Could it be because we take time over the details? When you're next renewing your insurance, have a proper conversation with us and find out. Visit nfumutual.co.uk. It's about time.
Super League's Magic Weekend, live from the Etihad Stadium. Coverage sponsored by Isuzu D-Max. Live only on Sky Sports.
When's Game Changers on?
It's live on Saturdays at 9 o'clock. It's hardly breaking news.
I was standing there thinking, oh, this could be embarrassing if it doesn't turn.
Before we do anything else, let's just quickly take you through the details for 2 weeks' time. It's European Finals weekend, of course, in the Amlin Challenge Cup. All Premiership affairs. Bath take on Northampton. That's from 7 on Sky Sports 1. London Wasps are going to have to pick themselves up after what happened yesterday to them at Northampton. They take on Stade Francais in the second leg of this year's playoff to take their place in the Rugby Champions Cup for next season. That's 1:30 on Saturday, May the 24th on 2. And then it's over to the big one, the Heineken Cup final between Toulon and Saracens at the Millennium Stadium from 4, and that is on Sky Sports 3. It is, of course, finals time at the moment, and who will be heading to the final of this year's Green King IPA Championship? Well, it's 40 minutes gone in the semi-final between Leeds and London Welsh, and it's the visitors with the work to do. Of course, they came down last season, and they are the ones that are desperate to get back up there again. Justin Burnell issuing some key messages to his men at half-time. Let's take inside the Leeds changing room as well at the break.
Let's go and drive it home now. We know what we need to do discipline-wise. Hey, well, let's take our opportunities, but let's be ruthless. And we want to win it, we've got to be outstanding in this half now. Outstanding.
Tommy McGee there, giving it some in the Leeds dressing room. Forwards coach assisted by Dave Baldwin. James Lowe's no doubt would have had his input as well at half-time. We heard Justin Burnell talking too there to not just Tom May, his captain, but Gordon Ross, his player coach.
Just dismissive, almost like he was nodding with the wind. Just put it down there, pin them down there. But it's all well and good London Welsh kicking. They kicked in the first half, and we know that with people like Jonah Holmes and Steve McColl, they will come back. So the kicking from Ross in particular has to be pinpoint, but the chase has to be good. And I think I concur with what Lynn was saying at half-time. The first tackle and the second man have to be so much sharper for London Welsh.
Well, I've run out of space on my scorecard in view of what happened in the first half. Let's hope that scorecard number 2 is pretty filled up as well come the end of this game. Not sure the coaches will quite see it that way, but it's been very entertaining fare, and as far removed from a semi-final match as you could possibly imagine, and that's great credit to both sets of players. They are really going for this. Here's Nielsen. Remember, London Welsh lost Alex Davis and Daniel Brown, injured in the first half. Hughes going downfield. Tinknell and Ross. Here's Alcock.
Help there, thank you.
Carry from Stedman. Ross again. Here's Spencer. And Cook. Cork, Ross. Stedman again. He's got Alcock outside. Really getting round on the outside there. These are the areas where Leeds have struggled. They've felt the strain when London Welsh have come back at them. Clinical inside that 22 if they can get there again, London Welsh. It's Nick Scott. Ross. Nielsen tempted, but he's on the wrong side and coming off his feet there, so he left well alone. Here's Ross again. There's Scott, Tom May, Stegman. Alcock's waiting, he's got it, and Alcock's into the corner here. Just too loose from Leeds in defence, and they have got to sort that out, London Welsh. putting themselves in an excellent position again. They're not quite winning the match, but are they moving momentum towards them in this tie?
Well as London Welsh have defended in the wide channels, Leeds, I'm afraid, are struggling there. They're getting exposed wide time after time. In the end, they got stretched and beaten in the first half. This time, the stretch is enough. Poor tackling, but they really are struggling between the 15-metre line and the touch line. They are getting outflanked, and this tackle has to be made. Soft hands from Tom May. Stegman into two. That's the key moment. Two defenders, one attacker. There's going to be space. Once Doherty once Doherty comes off his wing, that tackle has to be made, and there isn't the power there. He's got to absolutely floor Stegman. The moment he doesn't, Orcock is in for his second.
Another top contribution from Stegman. Seemed to have an age to get it away, and he showed strength in the tackle there.
Well, he blew one in the first half, Miles, didn't he? He saved a try, but he blew one. This time, though, watch Doherty, your left wing. He steps in there. He has to make the tackle, and he doesn't, and he just opens it up to Orcock.
Second try for the replacement. Conversion was always going to be difficult, but first score of this second half already in the bag for London Welsh, and Ross going along with the wind. Doherty. Leeds still in front.
The ball's
Just
right there.
keep it out of their minds, but at the moment it doesn't quite feel like they're in front for the first time in the match because of that first blood in the second half to Welsh. But they are. And Beach shows good resolve there. And it was Myerscough, the man who went to the sin bit in the first half. The moment that led to the penalty try. 5 tries in the match, 3 for Welsh, 2 for Leeds.
Bandage knock on.
Chance for a counter-attack.
Bandage is over.
Orcock on a hat-trick. And it's a long way back from McCall, but the ball is running. And running.
22.
And it was still in motion.
22.
No, well, Andrew Small is saying it had stopped, and I think he's right. I think that ball was dead. The crowd don't like it. The crowd are livid. Leeds are incensed.
Stop, let it stop rolling. To 22 only.
Love to see that again. I thought the ball had stopped, and I think it's really decisive refereeing.
Oh, what are Leeds doing here? Might catch everybody on the hop. Might work for them in the end. Vickerman again. Saw Stuart Lancaster watching there. Was formerly of this club. And Lacazette being thoroughly entertained by this. Then the penalty is given.
And a yellow card.
Loss of discipline, 10 extra metres. The referee, as you say, certainly went to the pocket. Gordon Ross is trying to get there to try and influence the situation, but Andrew Small looks pretty decided here.
It's after this, we'll just leave it. It's against you.
Oh, it didn't come out.
Well, he definitely put his pocket.
He did.
His hand went straight to his pocket there, and it looks like Trevet's little temper tantrum has saved someone there. But what it has done also, it's made a kick into a win, very much within range of this outstanding kick of Glyn Hughes.
The next man's then come through. It was
Of course,
never
right time
onside.
to put your hand in your pocket, regardless of whether you've got a yellow card or a red card in there. Maybe sometimes we can read too much into these things, but it did look like that it was going to get worse for London Welsh. Still might not be too good if Hughes can get enough on this. We saw what happened when Davis was on the field in the first half before he got injured, and how the ball got held up in the wind and eventually needed the help of the crossbar. Trees still swaying, but that close enough for Hughes to do his bit with the boot again, which he's done time and time again today.
Every point counts in this game. 7 points up now. Andrew Small, ball is kicked away, penalty's given, ball is hacked there, and he goes, look, well, he missed it, but he definitely went to his pocket there.
Here's Holmes. Leeds look to counter again. We'll come back to pocket gate in a second.
It's a tackle only.
London Welsh love the put into that counter-attack didn't work. So back to Andrew Small in his pocket.
Look at that. He's not looking for his handkerchief there, is he? And then Trevor gets involved, and suddenly the moment takes centre stage, and well done, Nathan Trevor. You've saved your mate who hacked the ball away from a yellow card. But 7 points in it. Let's remember at the start of this game we said it's not a win so much, it's home advantage that is the element in Leeds' favour. London Welsh, 8 minutes into the second quarter, only 7 points down. They won't be too unhappy, especially after the first 20 minutes of this match.
16-3, yeah. We're talking to Ollie Smith, aren't we?
Come on, lads, it's been textbook on the side first half.
He said looking too good at that stage.
18.
But equally, I think
Crouch.
it came through in his words there, but also more importantly in the actions of his players, that London Welsh, not a team to panic, they're not a team to go away. They've shown that all season. They've always had that air of a side who will be thoroughly involved in the key moments, but thoroughly involved there. The Leeds Carnegie pack. That was a monster scrum, and the crowd have responded to that. See how the backs rushed in to celebrate the moment with the players. Wow, what a scrum that was.
Beach heavily involved. The first two scrums of this match, Leeds looked rock solid. They looked as if they could put London Welsh where they wanted them. The 10-minute sin bin didn't help in terms of rhythm, but look at this.
Perfect.
The loose head. Does he come in on the slight angle? He's got so much drive behind him. Not just about front row. That's 8 men shunting, and that the timing of that is superb. They've settled, they're stable, and the drive was superb.
Some more.
Taken by Beck. And Cece. Bet that woke a few at the cricket, didn't it? That response from the crowd here. Yorkshire playing, Warwickshire just behind the football stand here.
Vantage knock on only.
He's gone forward, the whistle will go.
Knock on only, black coming through, knocked it on. Scrum down, it's green ball.
First offence. The London Welsh Leeds will put into this scrum, having asserted their position in this department last time out. Can they follow it up?
But you know what? Very early in the game, at will, Leeds put a scrum where they wanted it. Now, if they could just put a right hand on. I'm just thinking about Jonah Hughes, who has been Jonah Holmes, who has been so dangerous every time he touches the ball here. If they could just take Pete Brown out of operation, there'd be half a chance. It'd be very difficult, certainly for Nick Scott here.
Leeds have made a change at scrum half. James Doherty has come on to replace Craig Hampson. I've been informed Peter Doherty and David the Wingers are Doherty. And here is Doherty straight onto the ball.
He's blocking this guy.
Ruck.
Oh, that's a soft penalty.
And this time, card out of pocket. Pete Edwards has come on for Tideswell in the London Welsh front row. And Now Welsh are down a man.
Stedman gone, I think it is. And that was just, he'd been warned. That was crazy. They've lost a man, and this time, very interestingly, with 8 against 7, Leeds have the forward supremacy numerically. Look what they've gone for, the corner. Glyn Hughes not looking for 3 points. There's a warning first. It goes again. Doherty says, do you want to give him a yellow card?
Almost invites it, doesn't it, as you say.
In your own time, sir.
Stedman, the former Leeds man. Off. Leeds chance to take advantage of the extra man. Here's Cisse. Doherty finds Rowan, the captain. And again from the scrum half, this time to Myers-Coe. London Welsh slightly better at things on the scoreboard in the second half. This might be about to change. With Leeds now camping near that London Welsh line. Hughes goes wide. Then it's McCall, but it started to break down with the Hughes pass. And Gordon Ross is going to go... Well, he wanted to go long, but the cover from Leeds was good. It cut off his angle. Doherty got a long way back, expecting Ross to go downfield. There's Hughes and Beck. Hughes again. That's a much better pass. Finds Myers-Coe. Boot comes through.
And he kicked it with his feet, yeah.
From Corker.
That's fine.
And it will be the line out.
You are allowed to scrap the possession still.
He apologised for it, though, to the referee, just in case. Welsh can't afford to lose another.
Conversely, Leeds, I think, certainly need another score, that is. There's the stray boot. Funnily enough, I think Leeds find it harder to break the London Welsh defence 10-15 metres from the line where there's less space. It's been on the counter-attack and broken fields they've been at their brilliant best, when there's a little bit more space to get these runners going.
Line out's over.
There's Burrows. Also show that Tom Bristow is on for London Welsh. So Bristow and Edwards, the 2 replacement props. Myers-Coe. Wilson. All he had to do there was just get down on it.
Touch, Black, touched! Hold,
Ross.
let's your onside hold. On now.
That's what he wanted to do last time. Make McCall go all the way back. No chance to counter this time. McCall has to put boot to ball, and that worked out very well indeed for Ross. See by his little round of applause as the ball goes out.
That is a real return, isn't it, for Gordon Ross and London Welsh there. You can see Stevie McCall, he wants that ball to go dead for the 22. Retrospectively, what he should have done is play that ball earlier, because he was willing it out, but in the end, he just let the ball go 20 metres backwards, and that's a good position now for Welsh.
Line out over the top, Nielsen first to react. There's Doherty, good ball to Doherty. Doherty stepping. Beach was arriving, went through his hands, and Nielsen was in there again. Doherty finds Hughes. There goes Burrows, gathers himself and storms forward. Doherty, little chip, is covered by Cook. And Holmes prevents the quick one.
The ball's not in
Rory.
play yet, so...
I'm up here in the heavens with Saria McGeechan. What do you see the importance of the next 10 minutes? Seb Stegman in the bin for London Welsh. What do you think Leeds need to be focusing on here?
I think just keeping hold of the ball and the territory. Obviously the wins against us this half, but I think we've proved we can play some great rugby, but it's a matter of now not forcing it, and I think if we can get some continuity, keep the tempo up, that's what's caught London Welsh out so far.
And we saw yesterday the importance of playing to the last minute. Every score counts. What sort of cushion do you think Leeds really want to be taking into next week going away from home?
Oh, I think as long as they go down there having won is the most important thing.
Great stuff. Thank you, Sir Ian. We'll speak to you later.
Thanks, Rory. Ross again. Once more, he gets enough on it. These are tense moments now in this match, aren't they?
Very interesting, wasn't it? Again, that brilliant Leeds attack came from the fact it was a London Welsh throw-in. They lost possession of the ball, so London Welsh were preparing to attack, and suddenly it's all turned on its head, and that's when Leeds are at their very best.
No, Johnny, hold them there, please. We haven't got no hooky yet. Where's their replacement? Is he on? Okay.
I was listening to Geeks there, Miles, saying the main thing is a win, but I think Leeds certainly a win, yes, but I think after 16-3 up they could do with a bit more.
Leave it you two.
Is Hughes, and then Burden.
No!
Nothing back from there, and we can see the London Welsh strength in that department. Nathan Morris now on the field. Now, we move from one top international coach, Sir Ian McGeechan, to another, Stuart Lancaster of England, of course. Back on your old ground here, Stuart, and I understand you ran the half marathon here in Leeds this morning, and you're still smiling.
Very slowly, Miles, very slowly.
Go on, give us your time.
It was under 2 hours, which was the aim, so I'm pleased with that.
Oh, that's terrific. And we're getting terrific entertainment here, aren't we? It's a great advert for the Championship, this match.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, I think both sides have played fantastic attacking rugby, really. You know, it's a great pitch to play on, nice and wide, and both sides have played with great width and great shape on both sides of the ruck. So defences have been stretched, as you can see from the scoreline.
And James Lowe's, of course, new to all of this, the Leeds coach out of rugby league, but he's made his mark in an attacking sense, certainly, hasn't he, at this club?
Yeah, he really has. You know, I've got a lot of time for James. I think he's done a great job since he's come in, and he's transformed the way that Leeds have played. And I've been an intermittent watcher of the years since I left, and they're certainly playing the best rugby I've seen them play in the last 3 or 4 years. And I think Jimmy deserves a lot of credit for that.
Stuart, it's the other Stuart here. You mentioned the fact that they're playing either side off breakdowns. It's a little bit reminiscent, isn't it, of some of the stuff your boys have been trying to do this season?
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually had a chat with Jimmy not too long ago, and we were talking about it. And he's got a refreshing way of looking at the game. And he and I shared ideas on the way in which Leeds are trying to play and where we're trying to play. And certainly for me, attack has to be one of the points of difference you've got in your game. And I think both sides, in addition to that, will be a bit disappointed defensively. And I think if whoever comes up from the Championship, that's the area that you're really going to get tested when you're coming against the top clubs in the Aviva with your Saracens and Leicester, whatever. But at the moment, attack on top definitely.
Thanks, Stuart.
Cheers, Mark. Yeah.
3 points for Leeds. And Glyn Hughes again, as they move up to 35 to London Welsh 25, 20 minutes of the match to go. I tell you what, to the other Stuart, if we're going out jogging from the hotel in New Zealand on the England tour, I'm going to avoid Stuart Lancaster. He'll leave us behind.
There'll be no jogging here. What Stuart Lancaster said there is interesting as well. About defence is always the issue, because the IPA Championship just cannot have the intensity of the Premiership, and that's why you see brilliant attacking, but defence is always the first area that is in need of remedy, and that's definitely the case if one of these teams goes up. But boy, they're playing some great attacking stuff.
Here come Leeds again. Great chance here now for Lazowski, who's just come on. Inside to Doherty. Doherty to Doherty, and it doesn't quite work. My goodness me, when they uncork, they really can flow, but just maybe a little bit too much fizz on that counter-attack, and a bit more composure, and it would have been a try.
Well,
breathtaking stuff.
Early on, though, there is a clear yellow card here. It's a brilliant attack, but one of the reasons they don't have support here. Watch out for the man pulled off the ball. There you can see 21 is just checked, and when he gets the ball, it's a metre or so backwards, but brilliant counter-attack. yet again. And again, the key point, Leeds Carnegie at their best from distance.
Lazowski, one of 3 changes. Hooper's on for Leeds as well, and so too Callum Green. Hooper into the front row, Callum Green, of course, former Leicester second row. He's on for Myers Co. And Alex Lazowski showed his paces on the breakaway there, didn't he?
Dare I say, he's a bit quicker than his dad, Rob, with whom I played many years ago for England against Australia.
Yeah, back in 1984, that.
He was a good one, though, Rob.
Here's Callum Green. He's on his way to Newcastle Falcons, so he'll be in the Premiership next season, come what may. But a job to do here first, as Doherty goes again. He's looked very lively since he came on. Got a try at the Kazan at the end of January when Leeds lost. They lost the league meeting here, but they're not losing the one that matters at the moment. 35-25. Beach. Penalty Welsh.
Who'd be a fourth official? The man down here on the touchline is having his ears burnt by both benches. The tension is showing, and it's carrying across in both squads. Leeds' ability to play out of their 22 is the difference between these two teams just now. They haven't had to change much in the second half because even when inside their own half, they look to play a bit of rugby and then only kick if things break down. And that's the difference just now. They look really comfortable with ball in hand, even when into the wind.
Some great defence there. Pete Edwards, I think it was, made an absolutely thunderous tackle. But Charlie Beach penalised, is going over him very low. Leeds fans are thinking that's an illegal tackle, but the prop forward, super play, and then you can see the cover. Morris is in there quickly.
Stedman's back. Full complement again for London Welsh. They need them because here come Leeds once more with Doherty.
Off turnover again.
So another London Welsh change. John Quill, the United States international, is on, and there goes Hughes once more. They are breaking through at will. Was that forward on from Doherty to Lazowski? Thought it was, but anyway, the referee let it go. That has certainly gone forward. Now it's a chance for London Welsh to counter, and there's space in behind, and Scott is going after this, and Hughes gets a hand on it. It is all happening out there.
Well, this is better than a plate of roast pork, isn't it? This is great stuff.
And from you, that's saying something.
It certainly is.
Doherty, Lazowski. And then it was Burrows. There goes Burden.
He's off his feet. He's off his feet.
You wouldn't put it past Leeds going from here again, would you? Even off slow ball. Beach. Needs a man down, actually. There's an injury on that far side.
It's going to be scrum Green.
And referee Small wants to take a look at it.
Leeds will be delighted that they negated, the London Welsh negated that Leeds attack.
It's a
We'll be worried about this crowd.
Towards the play, so everything else is all right.
It's coming up now. I don't think there's a worry. It's hard to tell with the number of support staff around him.
Correct, yeah, because the ball's on the floor.
But he's up fine.
That's all right.
It's Jonah Holmes. Holmes, isn't it?
There's, yeah, they're in position with Scott for that, so yeah.
A key player today, and it's good to see him sitting up. It looked a nasty one initially, but all good now. Now, if you'd enjoyed the
bang on the Swede
games this weekend, but I'm sure you have. I mean, great tension and drama at the Memorial Ground yesterday, and even more to come when Rotherham meet Bristol and Sheffield next week. That's on Saturday evening, as you saw, and then the return of this leg. Put yourself in for more entertainment. London Welsh And Leeds Carnegie do it all again at the Kazam Stadium next Sunday lunchtime, when
Green ball, green in position.
it might be beef and you still might prefer the rugby to what's on your plate.
It's like this, even if it's rare. No doubt at all, though, London Welsh have got to find a way to shut this Pandora's box that is the Leeds counter-attack. They haven't been able to do it all afternoon. I'll have a plate in the commentary box. Perfect afternoon.
Stood up on its points. Spun round.
The Welsh have done very well after that sort of turbocharged scrum from Leeds. They've actually been able to negate it, and well, having said that, London Welsh pride themselves on their scrummaging, and Leeds have come very hard at them. I think Beach has gone well. He's still on the pitch there.
8-2.
It's advantage, I'd say, Leeds in the scrum, but London Welsh are battling very hard. I think the replacements have come on and done a good job.
And London Welsh, their replacements at the scrum, do a very good job. They do a job on Leeds there. Just thinking 10 points from a Welsh point of view is uncomfortable. If they can cut that down here to 7, it will feel and look a whole lot better, and their forwards deliver here.
Edwards and Bristow, superb stuff there. Yeah, 10 points is probably advantage Leeds. 7 points, as near as damn. Evens, I think. London Welsh very strong at home, and I know that Ian McGeechan said they really do want any sort of win, and that will do. But I think London Welsh are a tough team to beat at home, and from 16-3 down, they'd go home happy with a 7-point deficit, wouldn't they?
Well, Ross has got to supply it, and he does. Very high standard of kicking today. Sort of match the attacking intent from both sides. Defences have struggled. Not quite who cares, because there's a lot of people who do care in this stadium today. But it has made for a very entertaining affair. 7 points is the gap. 13 minutes to go. Still time to sway it here. Not the ultimate result. That'll be decided next week.
Yeah, guys, we've seen a huge impact from the bench of London Welsh. Nathan Morris, Tom Bristow and John Quill coming off the bench to shore up that front row and actually get dominance. Equally behind them, you've got Pete Brown come off, who's a behemoth. He's come in and made an impact, and it's going to be key. The 22-man squads here. We've seen James Doherty and Alex Lazowski do the same for Leeds, and with another 13 minutes of this game to go, these guys have a huge impact.
Here's Beach, didn't quite take the ball with him there, but it was looking very promising for London Welsh. Holmes. And then Green.
I live now.
Here comes Cece. And still,
good tonight.
Doherty. And Beach again can't quite control the ball, but didn't get too much blame for that one. It was fired towards him.
I think Callum Green gets in the way there. And if we see that again,
2 and 6 Green. And time off.
Doherty has fizzed that one with speed, and I think number 20, you don't want that ball. It's not Beach's fault. That ball has to go straight to Charlie Beach and can come back on the angle. Callum Green got in the way of that.
Leeds, triple change. You can see them waiting to come on. They're now on. Joe Graham, Lee Imilek, and Chris Walker. There's 2 more in the front row, and Walker back row man.
Loose heads angle at the scrum. Oh, yep.
Chris, whose brother Jack is also at the club. Watch out for him, 17-year-old. Well, just become 18 actually, but last few days, Chris's older brother, Jack Walker, very highly rated young hooker.
London Welsh need to get solid here. They've lost a couple long. That's a much better line out.
It certainly is, as it results in a penalty as well.
Well, this is a game of 4 quarters at the moment. It was looking so good for Leeds. 9-point lead in the first quarter of this match. London Welsh at the moment have clawed it back. Glyn said 3-all in the second half. Well, it's only 6-8, and it's 6-8 advantage to London Welsh.
Yeah, use the line, man, please. Look out for the line.
Yeah, this is a very interesting 10 minutes now. It's the last 10 minutes of the half of this second half of this playoff. I think whoever scores next is going to win this playoff, and it's so important London Welsh get 3 points over, or Leeds get back up there and extend their lead back to 7 points, because Leeds will need at least 7 points to go to the Kassam and win.
Thanks, Lynn. That really heightens it, doesn't it? Whoever scores next is going to win this playoff. Here's May. Orcott, who's got 2 tries already today. Stegman, who's always looked threatening. Cook to Ross. And that's well played by Stedman, and Stedman is still going against his former team. There's Cook, Ross. Well, it didn't matter in the end. It found Nick Scott. Can London Welsh conjure up another try here? As Lynn says, it could be the all-important one in the context of the whole thing. Well-defended Leeds that time. And they have a chance to get the ball away.
I'll come back defensively. We'll chat with Stuart Lancaster as well about this. Too often Leeds have been way too narrow. Watch David Doherty off the left wing here. He just in no man's land at all. And then bang, 15, 20 metres carried. And then Stedman, rubbing salt into the wounds, goes straight through the first line tackle. Leeds have played some coruscating stuff going forward, but they have been very, very brittle at times in defence. And of course, it's fascinating. Lynn says the next team wins it. What if it stays 35-28? Is it absolutely anyone's? I think it is.
Yeah, the inference, it's right in the balance, isn't it, as we stand at the moment.
Set.
Definitely, though, this Leeds attack much better than their defence.
Only changes made at the scrum. It's London Welsh coming back hard at Leeds in that department now. Burrows, his tireless work off the base of the scrum continues.
Don't block anyone.
Can Leeds exit here?
Just a tackle. Just a tackle. Yeah, it's a tackle.
Going to get another chance. London Welsh won 3 out of their last 4 visits here. In all competitions, won 3 out of their last 4 league meetings against Leeds. So their recent record against Carnegie is excellent.
Crouch.
Such an important scrum. London Welsh's bench starting to wreak a little bit of havoc. Another good scrum from Welsh.
It's all coming on from London Welsh at the scrum now. Total turnaround in that area, and it is reaping dividends here. Another chance for Ross, another chance for Welsh.
Well, if our very own Tiresias, Lynn Jones, is right, this is a kick to win the tie. Although there is, of course, 7 minutes afterwards. But that comes directly, doesn't it, from the pressure being applied from the bench. It's a reminder this is not a 15-man game. This, today is a 22-man game of rugby. And a key role is being played by the men who have come off the bench in the scrum for London Welsh.
Ross having to return to the ball as the wind just caught it a little bit.
Yeah, that'll sound good.
He's kicked a few big ones, hasn't he? But this joins the list of important kicks.
It was Leeds man of the match in their Power Gen Cup final success in 2005. Famous day for the club at Twickenham. Maybe that win on the ball which caused him to go back and lose his routine. We'll never know, but he never looked right for that one. Looked a bit rushed.
Well, it was gusting as well. I mean, from our commentary position, you could feel the gust. It was in his favour, but it wasn't matter where the wind was blowing. It was just the speed of it. Look at that. The wind is picking up.
That's going straight out on the restart. That would have been fine over the road. It would have gone for 6, but wrong game.
I think now, if you see the restart after this kick, it all becomes quite understandable. Looks like a kick he shouldn't miss. Justin Bernal can't believe he's missed it. But then you see Hughes, who's played beautifully all day, puts a ball, what looks completely incomprehensibly miles out on the full, but that's the wind, isn't it? It's just whipping up.
It's almost got to hit and hope, hasn't it?
Set.
It's coming on again from the Welsh scrum. Now it's in front of the post, and Cook will shake to go quickly, but his heart of hearts, he knows that this is Gordon Ross time again.
Nathan Morris, reserve hooker, being given a big pat on the head there. This reserve, this not reserve, impact front row of London Welsh is having a gigantic impact here. They are muscling their way back into the game. They have given Ross a chance that no matter how windy, you cannot see Gordon Ross missing this one.
Roughly.
I can't anyway.
Smack in front and smack through from Gordon Ross. 35-31. Still, as it stands, a Leeds victory, but starting to feel a little bit more like London Welsh's day. The strength of that wind, well, it's been there all afternoon, but as we've been saying, it really has picked up in the last few minutes. And again, that is saying something, because it's been gusting all the way through this match, and London Welsh feel now they can do something very special at the end and actually leave with a victory. That was Quill. This is Morris. In went Ticknell, May as well. The two centres then involved at the breakdown. Ross. And Leeds Carnegie look a little bit anxious here. Well, that's good work from Rowan, their captain, on the floor. Can they drive over this and make it turnover ball? Not quite.
Counter-ruck was good, play on.
Cook to Ross. There goes Scott, starting to roam free a little bit. Stedman. In goes Cook again. Ross. This is Brown. All London Welsh possession at the end of this match. May. Nathan Morris pumped to the floor. These just can't get their hands on the ball here. Quill again. They're calling for support on that far side, the Leeds defence. And London Welsh certainly have numbers to their left. Cook. Ross. Some space opening up in front of him, but it was cleared illegally. It's a penalty to the home side. 3 minutes left for them to add to their total.
It's amazingly enough, 3 minutes left. Almost, it feels like 3 minutes left for Leeds to hang on. Leeds started so fast, but it's the strength of London Welsh that is finishing the stronger here, and something important. A score would be so important here for Leeds. I think now,
he just read into your get, that was all.
Yes, it goes down as a match, but really it's half-time, and the second half of this game gives a big advantage to London Welsh. 4 points with home advantage. I think Glyn's right. Looking at the strength of the 22, London Welsh at the moment are favourites. Leeds needs something.
Graham throws down from Beck. Doherty to Hughes. Burden. Hughes again finds Jonah Holmes. On it goes to Lazowski. Lazowski tackled by Stegman. An important interjection he made in the first half could prove crucial. There'll be an awful lot to analyse after this game, though. Moments that could have gone in a different way. It's been action-packed, and there's Rowan to Burrows. Inside that London Welsh 22 now. Doherty, Lazowski. Hughes is limping, trying to take his place in the back line again.
Oh, penalty.
Through comes Quill. Penalty has been given away, as you say. Now, what do? They just bank the three. Well, Burrows is pointing. He's not the captain, but he's pointing at the posts. He's trying to have an influence here. Rowan agrees. This is over 2 legs. And they're going to take the 3.
Wasn't even a question there. There was only a penalty. Once again, fairly sloppy play here, you can see, from John Quill, inexperienced, and Glyn Hughes has kicked superbly, and I think he kicks this 3 points. We're back to where we were before. Lynn said next scorer wins.
And Lazowski's taken over the kicking duties here. Hughes was struggling. Got a knock. Lazowski, fine kicker in his own right. It's a lot potentially hinging on this kick. Clock about to tick into red. There it goes.
Okay.
It's Lazowski. It's the final points of this match. And there it is. 38-31, 7 points the difference. Argue between yourselves who has the advantage here. It is beautifully set up for next week. The dream of Premiership rugby still very much alive for both of these two teams.
Well, Leeds did today what they couldn't do in the regular season, and they've beaten London Welsh, but have they beaten them by enough? 7 points is tantalising. By the end of the game, the overall strength of the London Welsh squad seemed to be coming through. But Leeds play some lovely attacking rugby, and given half a chance, they will score points today. Justin Burnell has a shake of his head, but I think he'll be at full time just about the happier of the two coaches. As for man of the match today, in a knockout period where points is so important, Glyn Hughes, his goal kicking was immense, but he ran the team beautifully, especially in the first half. And the Leeds Carnegie fly half, Glyn Hughes, he is my Green King IPA Championship semi-final man of the match.
Never has a game felt so poised after a first leg. I think it's just there for either of these two. Leeds leave with the victories they simply had to do as the home team. Just like Bristol yesterday, they had to at least be in front after the first leg, but London Welsh know that that is a gap that they can manage next week at the Kassam Stadium. It is fascinating in the Championship this season. Let's go down to the pitch and Rory.
Glyn, it was a breathless game to watch. Just tell us a little bit about how quick that game was to play.
I think you can see by the end of me, I was just falling apart at the end. I was cramping up, but that's the way we like to play. We like to play half-fast tempo, test there defensively. But we started first half, especially, we were pretty good. Second half, got away a bit. We need to try and stay positive, I think. We went into our shells a bit, but we showed what we were about, and bring on next week.
And individually, 100% off the tee, you ran the game really well. You must be really happy with that today.
Yeah, as a rugby player, this is the sort of games you want to play in, and I want to test myself. London Welsh are a great team, and yeah, we'll go from there. I just can't wait for next week now.
Good man, Glyn. You're the Green King IPA man of the match. Congratulations and good luck next week.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, what an impact from that man off the kicking tee today. 9 out of 9 from Glyn Hughes. Alex Lazowski with the final kick going over as well. So a fantastic performance with the boot from Leeds. But it is all to play for. And you heard Glyn Hughes saying there how much he's looking forward to next week. It is set up to be an absolute humdinger. Both of them actually very, very evenly poised, because Bristol take a 3-point advantage up to Sheffield as they face the Titans in the second leg on Saturday. That's 6-on-1, and we've got leg 2 between Leeds and London Welsh back at the Kassam, and that's a lunchtime kickoff on Sunday afternoon, 12:30 on Sky Sports 3. And of course the winners will be going through the final 2-legged affair Wednesday, May the 28th, Wednesday, June the 4th for the second of those legs, and that will be the day we know who is heading up to the Premiership for next season. And we're going to get Wednesday's lottery numbers off Lynn before we go off air, because you called it a 9-point win in the first half, and it was 9 the difference at half-time. You said par will be 7 points today, and that is where we are. And who do you feel, therefore, comes away the happier off today?
I have no idea. I think both sides would be pleased, but then disappointed. It's difficult, isn't it? With Leeds, you know what? Every time they had the ball, you thought, oh, they're going to score. They're going to score. They're going to score. And with London Welsh, they'd be disappointed with their performance. Lots of things went right for Leeds today, and they'll be absolutely delighted with the start they had. But, you know, it's not going to be quite as easy as that next week. But they do have the ability to score points, and maybe 7, I don't know, it's too tough to call.
How do you approach the next 6 days then?
It's feet up, it's relaxation, it's tinkering with it, but it's all upstairs now with the boys. And what it showed to me, I thought London Welsh just looked the fitter side in the last quarter. They looked sharper with the ball. And but I think both sides need to step up their contact area work, and you know, the second man coming in on the tackle area needs to be far more effective than he was today for both sides.
Okay.